I watched Amanda King's video. It's a really good video. And I feel that Emirates punishing them and going for like I don't know if it's a lawsuit or what actually they're doing against them, but I feel that taking action for just this video, I think it's ridiculous. The video is great. They're really a pleasant couple, a really nice couple. And they actually show in detail, they show the life of a cabin crew. And they went further into detail than I did. And I'm quite technical about these things, but I was on my own, so. Yeah. But I think it's great to show people how the life of a cabin crew is.
When I first heard from you what she did and why Emirates is punishing her, I was like, well, of course, forget me, Amanda, but I was like, she's stupid, this girl. Why would she do such a thing? Then I was like, judging her right away, like, why don't you just follow your SOPs and you're fine? But then I went to watch the video, obviously, and I was like, wow, this girl is not stupid. Like, she's doing a very great job. And for me, as an ex-crew, it was a great nostalgia to see the whole process again, what I went through so many times in the past. We spent 4 years in Emirates, so it was countless entrances to the Emirates headquarters and back, and it was just a great and detailed reminder for me how it was, and actually nothing has changed.
Briefing rooms are the same furniture, same feeling. Getting lost? Yeah, you could get lost.
I would expect some upgrade, but I mean,
if it works, why would you change it? Yeah. But I remember, like she said, that she got lost in the headquarters, right? Not in the headquarters, but in the once you pass the check-in phase, and then you're walking around briefing rooms. It's not like you actually get lost. There's no way you get lost. But what can happen is you forget what your briefing room is. So you go to your briefing room because you know which one it is. Then you excuse yourself once you've done your checks and your safe talk and everything, and the briefing still has to take place. You go to the toilet, for example, or you go grab your coffee at Costa, and then by the time you go back, fuck, that was my briefing room.
Luckily,
That's how you get lost.
To me, but many times we were having a briefing, and then some crew just popped in, and we're like, "Oh, sorry." Yeah, that reminds me. The same thing happens with hotel rooms, right? Like you change your rooms so often, like the numbers always change, and sometimes you just don't remember your hotel room number.
Horrible. And you really mess it up.
End up knocking on someone else's door, or
it's funny.
I don't know, like you have to go and ask at the reception, what's your...
In my opinion, Emirates, Emirates how they are. It's a great company, growing super fast, but with this rapid growth and really crazy turnover, they know that people are expendable. So if you do something wrong, you're out. Done. I don't care. I don't need to keep you.
Personally, I wouldn't do it. Like, I wouldn't dare. If you love this job, which it looks like she really is enjoying her job.
I wouldn't compromise myself doing something, pushing it that far.
I was like, oh, it's a pity if she gets fired, like her, and like they are really dwelling on the travel experience, getting like so much out of it. They are not like this lazy kind of crew who just wants to stay in the hotel room or just party, maybe.
They actually they experience their layovers in a productive way. They go out, they enjoy themselves,
just like we did. Remind me.
We've been to so many places together: St. Petersburg, Washington, Seattle, New Zealand, Sydney.
Oh, yeah.
Where else? Norway. Oh my God, Oslo. That wasn't a good trip. We argued. Some first-class guy tried to hit on you.
Oh yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Well, you're jealous.
Of course I'm jealous. I can clean your watch. Why does he have to clean your watch and court you around me? Luckily then I was fine with my ex-flatmate. He defended me because I was just bottling it all up, and he just did what I was supposed to do. But I would eventually do it, but he had a shorter fuse than I did, and he lost it before I did. But what I wanted to say is, like, in my opinion, Emirates is too quick to slap your hands, like this, and they do it in a way where it's like an extreme punishment. It's like so extreme that it's almost uncalled for. And I can just remind everyone here about one event. But you remember when we were living in Sarab and we had Al Barari. Al Barari had a fantastic gym, swimming pool, tennis courts. It had the farm. We just don't get access to it anymore for free because one Egyptian crew stole towels, stole everything, which, he wouldn't have gotten punished. We wouldn't have gotten punished for such a thing. But what he did is he stole sunglasses from a client, a paying customer at that place. And so Emirates closed that, took away this benefit out of the Emirates benefit network, and so nobody could go there anymore. This reminds me that it's like a very draconian method that Emirates just punishes everyone for the fault of one person. And I understand that Emirates doesn't care because, like I said, we're young people, we have not much experience. You don't even need a degree to get into this job. So if you are in the company for a couple of years and you're making more money than some new junior coming along, if you leave, I'm happy. Please come along, take the spot. It's easy to learn. I mean, the training course is very well structured. It's not that easy, but as long as you study and you're focused, you pass it. Yeah. So if you leave, me as a big company, I'm not just talking about Emirates, but just a big company, I don't care. Oh. You really are just a number. We say it all the time. You really are just a number. So what Amanda King did, baking that cake, for example, I genuinely think it's not a hazard because that oven doesn't even, I mean, it looks super safe, super secure. The cake, she removed all the inserts. Nothing's was gonna touch. So I don't see any harm in that, but there are people that are not as clever as her that don't have any experience in cooking. They could have used something that would have caught fire, and because of a stupid cake, a lot of people could have died in an accident. I think is Emirates is doing the right thing, punishing for an action that was completely uncalled for and could have been avoided. So definitely Amanda King did something stupid. But if you see the thing like holistically from far away in third person, Amanda King is actually doing a great service to the company, and punishing her so badly, like this much, is not the way to do. Like if I was the company, I would see it a little bit from a distance and understand what are the pros, what are the cons, and it's just pros. It's very few cons. And they should not apply their draconian methods now when it absolutely makes no sense. And she's such a lovely person, lovely couple. They do a great job. Their editing skills, the music they choose, the makeup she wears, the camera work he does, and the quality. Like Emirates not paying for any of that, and they're doing crazy PR work. So either you pay them or you don't do anything. That's it. And the other thing I wanted to say is the CRC. Sorry if I'm talking.
Well, you were talking for so freaking long.
Okay, go.
Add this one little thing before we go to something else, to the CRC.
Go.
Back to the baking. As I said, I wouldn't do it personally. She said it herself in the video. Like, this oven is not meant to be for baking these kind of cakes. And that's why it didn't come out like crazy well. But
the reason why she said that is because she bakes usually at home, and this oven doesn't reach that temperature.
Obviously, this is for like small casseroles.
It's just heating.
And I think like if for the cake you have to heat it for a very long time in order to bake it properly everywhere, because it's a big amount. And that might be actually the hazard, I think, because it might start overheating. Because instead of 20 minutes, I forgot how much you have to set up.
Actually, ovens in the aircraft, you have 2 settings, and you need to override it to reach higher temperatures. So it can actually reach a higher temperature, but it's set and locked into a lower temperature, so it just heats up the meals.
But I would be careful with the ovens, because we had oven fires. I mean,
look, I'm not saying it's not a stupid thing. She did a stupid thing. But that's the only stupid thing she did, and she was there the whole time. Like, she's clever. You can see it the way she speaks. She's not one of those, like, dumb, very dumb people that miraculously passed the interview and are working for Emirates.
I don't want to forget about this. Obviously, I was going through the comments of the people under the video, and most of the people who never did this job, they were like, oh my god, what did she do wrong? Obviously, now we are talking about it, what she did was wrong. But they also noticed how hardworking the crew are. Like, they basically never stop, right? Like, the passengers think like, okay, we are out of the cabin and that we are not doing anything, but it's not true. Like, non-stop, there is a non-stop work of preparation and stuff, and she showed it perfectly. And so many people commented like, oh my god, I didn't know it was such a busy job, like you guys are really crazy and nice, and you know, doing all this while we are basically resting and watching TV. So I think this was also another great point that she showed.
Yeah, a lot of passengers think that we're just doing a very basic job, and it's not tiring. We relax, we chill in the back. That's because when they have their tray on their lap, they can't move. Then the minute that we remove it, it's time for us to eat. So the only moment they see us, because they can get out of their seat, is when we're having our meal. And so they think that we're just sitting down talking and gossiping. That's not it. So yeah, and furthermore, like, I want to say, I work for another airline, and that other airline, you had to pay for the food you bought. I mean, you wanted to eat. So nobody wanted to buy anything. So we would go in the back and sit down and talk all the time. And there was no WeCare. WeCare is like, I don't know, every 45 minutes, you got to go in the cabin and
I think so, yeah.
yeah, something like that. You have to go in the cabin, check on passengers, obviously bring drinks so that they can, replenish their fluids and clean the toilets and make sure that everything's safe, everything's okay. And you got to do that every 45 minutes. So we're actually all the time doing something. You take turns, but you're always doing something. But in other airlines, you just go to the back, sit down, talk, don't do nothing. So if you're working for Emirates, you actually work your butt off, much more than other airlines. Not all. I think some of them are maybe at the same level, but if you're talking about low cost where you pay for your food, I can guarantee you're chilling in the back. And all right, so I don't want to make this video too long, but another thing I wanted to say is the CRC.
The CRC. Yeah.
Okay, so CRC, cruise compartment, and we have 3 different variations now with the A350. I don't know if the A350 is a ultra long range, but
I think so.
if it has ultra long range paths and sectors. But there's 3 different varieties, 2 different varieties for A380s. Sometimes you have it in the mid-section, mid-forward section of the aircraft, and sometimes you have it in the back. The one in the back sucks because it's right next to the toilet, and it's noisy.
Because
and it's much more compact.
In the cabin.
It's dead in the cabin. But the other one in the mid-forward section is below deck. So, and you might be tempted to think that you can feel, or not feel, but you can hear all the steps and stuff. You don't. It's much wider, so you don't have to take turns to get in and get into your bunk and changing, but it's so much easier. A 777 is upper deck, so it's again away from the cabin and it's way quieter.
I love that one personally.
Super
Slept
good.
Like a baby.
Yeah, these 2 are the top ones, but there's a big difference in terms of CRC. This is in the manual, so it's nothing I'm making up. I might not remember everything correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong, if you're crew. But the CRC in the A380 that is in the mid-forward section, which is down, like in the lower deck, let's say, call it lower deck, has a hatch. And this hatch can be hermetically closed. And once it closes, it's like sealed. And there's no exchange between air outside and downstairs. So there's a risk, there's a hazard when you're down there that if you close it and you're in it, there's no new air coming in. So there's no oxygen, and you can suffer from oxygen starvation. There's a reason why we have crew rests, and that's to, get back the energy to work and do another service. But these are controlled rests, like exactly when you're supposed to go, when you're supposed to come out, when service, when the next shift goes down and sleep. So if you go in within these time frames or outside of the time frames, nobody's checking on you. Nobody knows that you're actually down there. If the hatch closes and you can't communicate with the upper deck, you can die in there. So that's why you need to follow SOPs when it comes down to CRC, so you avoid any of these type of situations. So I'm not saying that Amanda and her boyfriend actually tried to create a situation where this could happen. I don't think they're that stupid. Obviously, it didn't happen on the video, so that's not it. They just wanted to, let's say, satisfy the curiosity of the viewership that they have, which is great. But if Emirates is as they are and Amanda knows about it, they're going to get slapped on their hands because they're going to get a slap on their hand, because if they did it, someone else might do it. Emirates wants to make it safe for everyone and is making an example out of Amanda. That's what I wanted to say earlier. They're trying to make an example out of this so that nobody ever bakes cakes on board and goes into CRC, especially with a civilian that is not authorized to go down there. But honestly speaking, there was no hazard in doing so.
Oh, no.
The boyfriend just went down, looked around, and left.
Yeah, this I see as no problem. Just especially if the seniors knew about it. Like if I say, hey, can I show the CRC to my boyfriend? They'll just peek in and come out. Senior says, okay, that's fine for me, as long as you don't show what's the access code. But yeah, and nobody should know the access code except of the crew, right? If he closes himself accidentally, or somebody closes the hatch accidentally, I think there is a warning signal. Maybe you.
There's a buzzer.
Yeah, there's a buzzer.
Yeah.
You guys, crew, please leave us the comment. What happens in this case? There's something going on, just to obviously so nobody dies there. But when we were leaving Emirates, these lower deck CRCs were like a new thing, so we don't really remember it very well because we used it me personally, I used it like twice before I left.
Same.
So
It's quite a new thing, yeah. New fitting for the aircraft. Anyways, I also wanted to say that a very good friend of mine from first class told me about this privilege that some cabin crew have if they are influential on social media. So if they have like a strong, big following, they get these better perks, better benefits, and better hotel rooms so that they can show off, you know, and it makes perfect sense. If I was running Emirates, I would do the same. Really, it's perfect. It's perfect. But I actually don't know if this is true. Like, I just believed my friend, and it makes no sense for her to lie, but I didn't corroborate this. So again, I don't want to say that this is the actual truth, but it would make sense. And please correct me if I'm wrong in case it is wrong. You were saying?
Yeah, I was saying it's crazy how in just a few years, like the world has changed this, like in these eyes of social media, you know, because when we joined it in 2014, so that's exactly 10 years and a half ago, we were almost not allowed to
do anything,
to take any pictures in uniform posted. Like we were being scared that we cannot do it or we'll be punished, you know, like we cannot post pictures from training college because it's like secret, you know, and stuff like this. And in the end, we did it, nothing happened. But I remember when we joined, we were like afraid to post a picture in a non-complete uniform, for example. Like if you were missing a hat with your uniform, it would be a problem because it's like you are not full on uniform, you know, you're missing the hat. And and now
things
it's
have
like
changed a lot. Yeah,
they are promoting just the social media so much. Everybody's an influencer,
another thing,
his lifestyle, like everything.
Yeah, I want to build on that.
Crazy.
And say how now, like, there are so many influencers, so many cabin crew taking pictures and bragging so hard. There's things that they're doing that, like, in the past it would have been unconceivable, like haram, like crazy, right? And now everybody's like showing the luxury, showing the crazy makeup, showing the curves. They're doing so much, and it's like all kind of allowed. Social media is full of these influencers. Let's imagine that I'm someone that has no clue of Emirates. You know, I've never worked in Emirates. I have no idea about Emirates and so on. Let's imagine I start from that point and I go on social media and I see all this stuff. I'm brainwashed that this is the best job ever, with the hottest crew ever, with the best benefits ever. Everybody's nice. Everybody's hot. Everything's idyllic.
Yeah.
They don't show the truth. They will only show what shines. And you know why? Because they'll get punished if they don't. Think of other people. They want the job? Perfect. I'm going to search the hell out of it. I'm going to go on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. And I'm going to try to get as much content and as much understanding as I can about the job. What am I going to find? Just fake stuff, because the people that are actually in the company at the moment are just posting stuff that is allowed and that improves the image of the company. So there's actually no truth out there. None of it.
Yeah.
And so it's rare to get someone that talks the truth and says how the job is. I think that Emirates should just accept that there will be some pros and there will be some cons. If you're famous, it's always going to be like this. It's a free world, there's free speech, and it doesn't matter because there's Glassdoor.com that shows the reviews of previous employees or current employees that can review the company in an anonymous way, and they can review the company. They can't escape the reviews. So if they want to live in this world where there's no freedom of speech, they're going to be up to constant fights because that world is gone. It doesn't exist anymore. It's not just them. If I work for Microsoft, if I work for Amazon, if I work for such and such, these are big corporations, I'll be probably treated the same way. Just go to Glassdoor.com and have a look at all the reviews of any big company, Fortune 500. Every company will have someone that is unhappy, that didn't like something, was mistreated by a manager, and talks bad about the company. And most of the times, I also want to be completely transparent here. The problems that happen in Emirates are not problems that happen because of upper management. It's because of a supervisor, because of a purser, because of maybe the cabin crew manager. It's not nobody up above that is doing something super bad that affects everyone below. Maybe sometimes there's something real big that happens in a contract, then I would agree. But most of the pain in the ass problems are between cabin crew and their direct managers, not the ones that they report to, but the ones that they're flying with, so supervisors and pursers. It's not Emirates to blame. It's these people that need to be blamed. And they get the responsibilities way too fast because the company has such a high turnover. People leave. People don't stay long enough to become managers. So people are pressured to become managers and they're not ready for it. And so they have a short fuse and no patience. This is what causes problems with the grade 2s and the grade 1s. So I'm talking about economy and business class and maybe FG1s, first class. I don't want to repeat myself, but I think that they're doing something that is over the top against Amanda, and it's completely uncalled for.
Right. Well, I agree with you. I just was laughing before when you started talking about this topic, because nowadays really, like, you can see anything online. You find anything and you know how the lifestyle is. When I was joining 10 years ago and I went to open day to Emirates, I didn't know shit
Like
about like I haven't seen the only video I've seen about how it is to work for Emirates was the official promotional video from Emirates of walking cabin crew from the airplane. I don't know, and that was it. Like I've never talked to anybody who actually did this job, or like seen a video. Like it's just 10 years. This world is completely different, and that's crazy. And we have to, I think, for the viewers, we have to remind that
they have it so much better from this point of view.
Yes, the world is much more transparent. So take it as a privilege, but also remember that not everything what is shown to you is as golden as it looks like.
Yeah.
And I think this is what should close this this conversation of ours, because it's getting
it's very long. Yeah.
And if you reach this point, oh my God.
Don't follow just the videos of people that are in Emirates. Those are great to get the experience of a day-to-day life in Emirates, omitting the bad parts. Try to check channels of people that are outside of the company, can freely talk about the company, because those are the ones that you can really trust. They're going to be transparent from every aspect, from the pros to the cons, allowing you to understand and figure out in a pondered way if this is the way you want to go, if this is the career you want. Because the worst thing is to just talk well about the company. If you've had a bad experience, you should explain that this is something that you could also get throughout your career with a company. And when you move to Dubai and work as a cabin crew, you know what to expect. If you don't know what to expect and you go there and you enter the shitstorm and you're not ready for it, you're going to suffer so bad you're going to leave in your first 2 months. Thank you for watching. And sorry for the really long talk, and this is the first time we're trying this method. It's with a 360 camera, one lens towards me, one lens towards Zdenka, and let us know how it looks like. It's with an Insta360 X4. Hope the quality is decent.
Behind the scenes, Emirates crew are acutely aware that every provocative post is both an opportunity to build a following and a potential liability. For new hires and seasoned crew, this social media dynamic is a double-edged sword. While it creates personal recognition and a global following, it also invites the possibility of a sudden job loss if a post is seen as going too far, or that backfires and puts the company at risk. The perks of working with Emirates, from luxury hotel stays to exotic layovers, have attracted millions of followers to their social media accounts. For new recruits, this lifestyle promises both financial stability and a world of adventure, and Emirates has seemingly embraced this new form of advertisement. Rumor has it that crew members with high follower counts even get upgraded accommodations on layovers, often better than the rooms assigned to flight deck staff. But behind this trend lies an issue that Emirates management likely didn't anticipate. For some crew members, the temptation to gain more followers has led to risky behaviors. A recent incident involved a junior crew member who went beyond the company's boundaries by filming inside forbidden zones of the aircraft. She took her civilian partner into the highly restricted crew rest compartment, an area meant exclusively for off-duty crew members to rest and recharge, and broke aviation regulations. The situation escalated when the video went viral, putting Emirates management in a tight spot. Emirates immediately responded by seeking to identify and terminate the responsible crew member. However, she resigned. Next, management went after her direct supervisor. The chain of responsibility didn't stop there. They then pursued the purser overseeing the flight, aiming to hold him accountable. Luckily for him, he had documentation providing he had reported the crew member's behavior beforehand, a move that not only saved his job but also exposed a significant gap in Emirates' follow-through on internal reports. The rules are evolving, with Emirates seemingly adopting a more flexible approach for those who bring valuable social media exposure. This brings a dual responsibility for aspiring cabin crew to represent Emirates positively while adhering to company policies and safety regulations. The consequences of non-compliance are real and can lead to repercussions not just for individuals, but for their entire team. And this incident highlights exactly how this unfolded and how it got to punish almost everyone on the team. While the glamorous lifestyle of an Emirates cabin crew might seem irresistible, it comes with strict rules and a need for discretion. As social media continues to shape public perceptions of the aviation industry, the question remains, how far is too far? If you're considering this career, remember that the reality is much more complex. If you want to hear about even more stories like the top 10 meanest things Emirates supervisors have done on board, don't miss this other video linked right here.